The Philippines is one of the most underestimated nations on Earth. For centuries, foreign powers tried to control it. Natural disasters tried to break it, and yet, it survives. What outsiders see as weakness has always been the country's greatest strength: resilience. This is the untold story of a nation forged in fire and struggle. A story the world has overlooked for far too long. The Philippines is a land defined by extremes. Situated on the edge of the Pacific's ring of fire, these islands sit on shifting tectonic plates that constantly test the ground beneath them. Volcanoes rise, earthquakes rumble, and typhoons sweep in from the ocean with little warning. Each year, storms batter the coastlines, destroying homes, flooding cities, and uprooting lives. In another nation, such constant hardship might crush the spirit of its people. But here, in the Philippines, struggle has always been a teacher, and resilience, the lesson learned generation after generation. History, too, has been no kinder. For more than 300 years, Spain ruled these islands, reshaping their culture, their religion, and their way of life. Then came the Americans, bringing a new wave of influence, followed by the Japanese during World War II, who left destruction in their path. Each wave of foreign power thought they could control the archipelago, bend it to their will, and erase its identity. Yet time and again, the Filipino spirit refused to break. Even in the darkest chapters of history, resistance grew in the hearts of the people. Farmers, fishermen, and ordinary citizens turned into fighters, not just for survival, but for the dream of independence. Through colonization and occupation, one truth emerged: the Philippines was not simply a land to be taken. It was a nation that endured. Where others saw only hardship, Filipinos saw the chance to rebuild. Where others expected surrender, Filipinos showed defiance. And when freedom finally came, it was not given as a gift. It was earned through blood, sacrifice, and unshakable will. But the struggles did not end with independence. Poverty, political challenges, and corruption have tested the Philippines again and again. Natural disasters continue to strike without mercy. Yet in every storm's aftermath, in every tragedy that makes headlines, the same image appears: communities working together, neighbors helping neighbors, strangers lending a hand. In these moments, the true strength of the Philippines is revealed, not in wealth or weapons, but in its people, bound together by a resilience the world often fails to understand. This is why the Philippines cannot be measured by statistics alone. GDP numbers, military size, or global rankings fail to capture the deeper truth. This is a nation forged in struggle, shaped by forces that might have destroyed others, but instead created a people who refuse to fall. Outsiders might underestimate the Philippines, but those who live here know the truth. Every hardship has made the nation stronger. And it is this hidden strength, born in struggle, forged in fire, that sets the Philippines apart from the rest of the world. The Philippines is often seen only through a narrow lens. To the world outside, it is a tropical vacation spot, a land of beaches, festivals, and smiling faces. Tourists arrive, cameras in hand, eager to capture sunsets and crystal waters. They leave with souvenirs, memories, and snapshots of paradise. But what they do not see, what they cannot capture in a postcard, is the hidden strength that lies beneath the surface of this archipelago. For the Philippines is far more than just beauty. It is a nation whose true advantages remain invisible to those who do not look deeper. Geography is the first of these hidden strengths. Scattered across the Pacific Ocean, the Philippines is made up of more than 7,600 islands. At first glance, this may seem like a challenge, an endless stretch of land and sea that is difficult to govern or connect. Yet in reality, this geography is a natural shield. History has shown that empires struggled to control the Philippines because its islands form a labyrinth. Each region is distinct, each province able to stand on its own, and together they create a natural fortress. An invader may land on one island, but to claim them all is nearly impossible. It is this very fragmentation that has preserved the identity of the Philippines through centuries of foreign attempts to dominate it. The land itself resists conquest. Beyond geography lies an even greater strength: its people. More than 115 million Filipinos call this nation home, and it is here that the Philippines' true power emerges. Filipinos are known worldwide for their resilience, their warmth, and their work ethic. In every corner of the globe, from the skyscrapers of Dubai to the hospitals of London, the presence of Filipino workers is felt. They bring not only labor but also care, creativity, and determination. What the world often overlooks is that this diaspora is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of influence. The Philippines extends far beyond its borders, shaping economies and cultures thousands of miles away. At home, this spirit of resilience turns into something even stronger: community. In the Philippines, hardship is never faced alone. When disaster strikes, neighbors rebuild each other's homes. When tragedy comes, entire towns gather to mourn and recover. There is a word for this unity: bayanihan, the tradition of working together for the good of the community. It is not written into laws or enforced by power. It is lived every day in the streets, in the villages, in the cities that rise again and again from storms. This invisible thread of unity is the true armor of the Philippines, a power stronger than any army. And yet, there are even more hidden strengths. The Philippines is rich in natural resources, from fertile lands that grow rice, coconuts, and sugar, to vast seas teeming with fish and marine life. Beneath its soil lie minerals that fuel modern technology: gold, copper, nickel, and more. In the hands of a united and determined nation, these resources could one day make the Philippines not only resilient, but also prosperous on a scale the world has yet to recognize. But perhaps the greatest hidden strength lies in its culture. This is a nation of storytellers, of singers, of artists whose talents reach every corner of the globe. It is a culture born of diversity: Malay roots, Spanish influence, American echoes, and indigenous traditions that survived centuries of change. All of these blend together into something unique: a culture that adapts without losing itself. Where other nations fracture under the weight of change, the Philippines transforms it into strength. The world may not see these things. Outsiders may continue to look at the Philippines as simply a land of beaches or a source of labor. But those who look closer, those who listen to its stories and witness its resilience, will find a hidden strength that cannot be measured by statistics. Geography, people, community, resources, and culture. These are the pillars of a nation underestimated by many, but destined to surprise them all. The Philippines is no stranger to hardship. Its history has been written in storms and in battles, in centuries of foreign rule, and in the endless struggle to survive. But history is not destiny. The Philippines is no longer just a survivor. It is a nation rising, and its story is only beginning. The future belongs to those who can endure, adapt, and transform. In this, the Philippines stands ready. Around the world, nations with vast armies and powerful economies rise and fall, shaken by division and doubt. Yet here, on these islands in the Pacific, a different kind of strength is taking shape. A strength born not from weapons or wealth, but from resilience, unity, and vision. Technology is the first wave of this transformation. Across Manila, Cebu, and Davao, young Filipinos fill co-working spaces and startup hubs, coding programs, designing apps, and creating solutions for problems the world has not yet solved. They are not bound by tradition or by the weight of past empires. They are fueled by creativity, by connection, and by global ambition. A new generation is emerging, one that no longer asks permission to lead, but simply begins to lead. Education is the foundation. In classrooms across the archipelago, children are learning skills their grandparents could never have imagined. Artificial intelligence, digital design, biotechnology. Their voices echo with confidence, their dreams stretch beyond the sea. The Philippines is not merely preparing for the future, it is shaping the future. But the rise of a nation is never without challenges. Poverty, corruption, and inequality remain heavy burdens. Typhoons will come again. Earthquakes will strike again. Political storms will rage again. Yet what history has proven is that every time the Philippines is knocked down, it rises stronger. Every collapse is followed by rebuilding. Every setback becomes a chance to begin again. Few nations on earth can claim such resilience. The world is beginning to notice. As global trade shifts toward Asia, the Philippines' location becomes more valuable than ever. A crossroads of the Pacific, a bridge between East and West. International investors, once hesitant, now turn their eyes to Manila's growing skyline, to Cebu's expanding ports, to the endless possibilities hidden in these islands. And yet, beyond economics and politics, there lies something even greater: spirit. The Filipino spirit is unbreakable. It sings in the voices of overseas workers who sacrifice for their families. It shines in the hands of farmers who continue planting after every storm. It flows in the laughter of children who find joy even in the midst of hardship. This spirit cannot be measured, bought, or conquered. It is the soul of a nation that has survived everything the world could throw at it, and still stands proud. The Philippines is no longer the forgotten archipelago. It is no longer the underestimated nation. It is a story of survival that has become a story of strength. And now, it is becoming a story of promise. What will the next century bring? A Philippines leading in technology, in culture, in global influence? Or perhaps something even greater? A nation that proves to the world that true power is not measured in wealth or armies, but in resilience, unity, and hope. For centuries, outsiders tried to define the Philippines. Colonizers, conquerors, and critics wrote its story. But today, that story belongs to the Filipino people, and as they rise, the world will have no choice but to listen. The Philippines, not just born in struggle, not just forged in fire, but rising, unstoppable, unbreakable, and unforgettable.